بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والمطلقات يتربصن بأنفسهن ثلاثة قروء ولا يحل لهن يكتمن ما خلق الله في أرحامهن إن كن يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين العبد المؤيد الرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد المحمود الأحمد أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. قال الحكيم في كتابه الكريم: الطلاق مرتان فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان. Dear brothers and sisters, in the previous session I gave some general information regarding divorce, regarding the difficulties and problems which a couple might have in their life, and when they might resort to divorce. As I said, divorce is the last solution. A couple should make use of all opportunity, all other ways, try to use of every means and of every opportunity to save the marriage. And if there is no other way and no other solution, then of course divorce is offered as a solution to the problems they are faced with. And as I mentioned, the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, has been quoted as having said that Allah has not made permissible anything more abominable than divorce. So divorce is allowed, but it is abominable, it is despicable, it is disliked. And divorce has certain conditions, in the absence of which the divorce will not be valid. The divorce will be useless. Now, inshallah, in this session, I will try to enumerate and explain the rules and the conditions of divorce. According to religious authorities, a man who wants to divorce must be, of course, adult and must be sane. An insane person cannot divorce his wife. And the same is true with a child who has not attained the age of puberty. He cannot divorce his wife. And of course, if he divorces his wife, according to religious authorities, precaution must be exercised. That is to say, someone should divorce his wife on his behalf, and that person should be sane and of course adult. And one thing more that has to be clarified is that the divorce under compulsion is also not valid. So he who divorces his wife should divorce of his own accord and of his own choice. He should be free in his carrying out the divorce. He should not be compelled. A divorce which takes place under compulsion and as a result of coercion or coercion is not valid. There are some parents who, as a result of picking feud with the wife of the family, want their son to divorce his wife. Of course, no parents have the right to compel their son to divorce his wife. And it is not obligatory nor it is recommended for the son to obey his parents when it comes to divorcing his wife. He should not and must not divorce his wife simply because his parents want him to divorce her. It is the man's right and responsibility and also authority to divorce or not to divorce, because divorce is the right of the man, the right of the husband. No one has any role to play in this regard. So it is not necessary for the man to obey his parents, no matter whatever threats they might throw at him, whatever curse they might throw at him, or whatever intimidation, whatever the cause and the reason. He should not divorce his wife. Of course, if a man finds it difficult for himself to compromise with his wife, to reconcile with his wife, and if there is a deep aversion, a deep hatred between his wife and he himself, and there is no other way, no solution, then divorce is a solution that is offered by the legislator, by God the Almighty. He can resort to this solution. And therefore, to conclude, divorce under compulsion or under threat, or when it is not carried out of one's own accord and of one's own choice, will not be valid. The husband and the man will remain married to each other. Unfortunately, this is one of the difficulties the couples face in their lives. Many families have dispute with the wife of the family, and they do not want her, they do not like her, so they want the son of the family to divorce his wife. This cannot be done, and the son should not obey. Another issue that has to be taken into consideration is that the divorce should take seriously and should take place seriously. It cannot take place when a person jokingly says "Anti taliq." If he says this jokingly, according to Shia jurisprudence, the divorce will not be conducted. It will not be valid. Unlike the Sunni jurisprudence, of course, in their view, even if a man in his dream and his sleep says that my wife is divorced, that divorce will be valid. And if he says jokingly "Anti taliq" to his wife, even if there is no witnesses, even if there is no one to witness the divorce session, then the divorce will be valid. But the Shia jurisprudence is very strict in this regard. There are very strict conditions that have to be available and have to be met in order for the divorce to be valid. Now, if a person jokingly says, "My wife, you are divorced," or "Anti taliq," or "Zawjati fulan taliq," the divorce will not be valid. And it has to be noted also that in the time of divorce, there should be two witnesses, two just witnesses, not two witnesses only. Because if there are two people who are not just, who are not adil, the divorce will not be valid. We have to make sure that those people who observe, who witness, and who oversee the divorce are just, they are adil. And an adil person is one who performs his obligatory duties, the wajibat, and also keeps away from haram acts, from haram things. He is, according to most of the scholars, he is an adil person. He does the wajibat and stays and keeps away from haram things.
يا محول الحول والأحوال حول حالنا حول حالنا يا أحسن الحال.
Such a person is adil. And the second condition, which is very much also important, is this, that the woman should not be in her menses. She must not be in her monthly period. She must be pure. And she should have come out of the blood menses. And then, of course, the divorce can be carried out. And a third condition, which is also very much important, is that the husband should not have had sexual intercourse after she has come out of the menstrual, of her menses, or out of the menstrual period. The husband should not have had intimacy with his wife. And if he has had sexual intercourse with her, she must wait until she enters her menstrual period again. And then when she comes out of her menses, then the husband can divorce her. And when a husband wants to divorce his wife, he must make sure that his wife is not in her menses. He should ask her. He should check with her. He should ask her whether she is in her menses or not. If she says that she is in her menses, then she cannot carry out the divorce. She must wait. He cannot carry out the divorce, and he must wait until he is purified. Of course, according to religious authorities, it is valid to divorce a woman even if she is in haiz or in nifas, in certain cases as I will mention. Now, what are those cases in which a woman can be divorced even if she is in her menses? Number one, if the husband has not had sexual intercourse with her after marriage. Now the man has just contracted the nikah. He has just recited the formula of the marriage contract, and he has not had any physical contact with his wife. In this case, even if she is in her menses, of course, the husband can divorce her. Now, the second condition is that if it is known that she is pregnant, if the husband knows that his wife is pregnant, then in the time of pregnancy, the divorce can be carried out and there is no problem. And of course, and if this fact is not known and the husband divorces her during haiz, and he comes to know later that she was pregnant, that divorce will be valid and there will be no objection as to the divorce and no problem as to the talaq. The third condition in which the wife can be divorced is that if due to the husband's absence or imprisonment, the husband cannot have or cannot obtain any knowledge from about his wife being pure. In this case, of course, he can carry out the divorce because he is in the prison and he wants his wife to be free, or he is far away and he cannot communicate with his wife to ask whether she is in her menses or not. If she cannot find or obtain knowledge about his wife's being in her menses, of course due to her absence or due to being in the prison, then he can divorce his wife, and it is not necessary to ask about her whether she was in her menses or not, even if he meets her after that. And one thing that has to be noted is that if a woman learns through her husband that he has been divorced, can she, of course, take it as granted and consider that divorce as a valid divorce? Or no, she must check or make sure that the divorce has been conducted according to Islamic law? Of course, it's not necessary. She can trust her husband. When she is informed that she has been divorced, she should observe iddah from the time the divorce has been carried out. And the iddah of divorce is 3 months or 3 menses. The woman should keep away from marriage with another man, and she should not take action for marriage until she has completed or she sees the 3rd menstrual blood. As soon as the 3rd menstrual blood is seen, then she can go for the 2nd marriage or for marriage with another man. The same is true if she has completed the 3rd month, even if there is no blood, no menstrual blood, she can, once the 3rd month is completed, then she can, of course, marry another man. This is what we call iddah. Iddah means the waiting period, which is, of course, 3 months. 3 months or 3 menses. 3 menses. 3-time purification from menstrual blood. In Arabic, they call it tuhr, 3 cleansing. If a woman is cleansed from blood for the 3rd time, then that is enough, and she can, of course, take action for marriage with another man. 3 months or 3 menses. This is the iddah of divorce. But when it comes to the iddah of temporary marriage, I have mentioned already that the iddah of temporary marriage, since there is no divorce in temporary marriage, the iddah of temporary marriage is 45 days. A woman whose time of fixed time marriage has ended and has come to an end, she should wait from that time until 45 days. And when the 45 days are complete, then she can take action for marriage with another man. And this is the difference between temporary marriage and permanent marriage. There is no divorce in the temporary marriage, but there is divorce in the permanent marriage. And also when it comes to the iddah of death, because we have also another iddah, and that is iddah wafat, iddah of death. And the iddah of death is 4 months and 10 days. 4 months and 10 days. A woman, when she is in the iddah period of death, should not marry another man and should not decide to marry and should not take action for marriage until 4 months and 10 days are complete. Once this period of time has finished, then of course she can take action for marriage with another man, and she can marry, and there will be no problem in her marriage. And remember, if a woman marries another man during the iddah of talaq or during the iddah of wafat, it does not make any difference. Then she cannot marry that man permanently. That man and the woman become haram to each other forever. I have mentioned this in the previous program also.
ناجيتك يا رحمن ودعوتك يا ديان يا خالق الإنسان الله 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 يا خالق الإنسان الله الله الله.
No woman can marry another man as long as she is in her waiting period. And if she knowingly or unknowingly marries another man, then she becomes haram for that man forever. And there is no doubt as to this. So the iddah is different, and especially when it comes to the iddah of wafat, a woman must not wear new clothes. A woman must not make up herself. She must not adorn herself. She must not beautify herself. She should wear the normal clothes, otherwise she is committing a haram act. And of course, there are some people who wrongly believe that a woman who is in the iddah of death should not go out also. No, that is incorrect. She can go out of her house. She can go to her parents' house. She can go to her relatives' house. There is no objection to her going out. She can go out. But what is forbidden for her is to wear new dresses, is to adorn herself, to beautify herself, and to make her to use makeup, and also to marry during this time. And of course, the last thing that I should mention is that if a man thinks that his wife is not in her menses, or that his wife is clean from the menstrual blood, and he divorces her, but later it transpires, it becomes known to him that she was in her menses, of course the divorce will be valid. The divorce will be valid. But if a man thinks that his wife is in her menses, and he divorces her with this assumption that she is in her menses, and later it transpires, it becomes known that the woman was not in her menses, of course the divorce in this case would be valid and there would be no problem, because what is important is that the woman should not be in her menses when the divorce is correct, when the formula of divorce is concerned. And of course the formula of divorce is very simple, very, very easy, and very easy to learn also. If a man says in the presence of two just witnesses, Zawjati Fulan, instead of saying Fulan, he must mention the name of his wife. For example, he says Zawjati Fatima Taliq, and he says it only once in the presence of two witnesses, that will be enough. He himself can recite the formula of the divorce, and it's not necessary for him to deputize someone to choose a representative so that his representative should recite the formula of divorce. Of course, he can do this. He is allowed to do this. He can authorize an alim, a cleric, a clergyman, to recite the formula of the divorce in the presence of two witnesses. And it is not necessary that the wife should be present. The wife can be absent. It's not necessary either to inform the wife, because some people believe that, okay, the woman should be informed, she should consent to the divorce. No, it is not a matter of consent. The woman can be divorced without her consent, because many women do not consent to divorce. Divorce is something which will bring bad reputation for the wife, and it is only a right, an exclusive right of the husband. So the divorce can be conducted without woman's knowledge, without her consent, without her agreement, and even the husband is not necessary to be present in the meeting in which the divorce is carried out. Because if he has authorized someone else, if he has chosen some representative, then that representative can go somewhere else and find two just witnesses and carry out the divorce. And it is not necessary for the husband and the wife to be present. Of course, the husband later on should inform the wife and tell her to observe iddah, because from the time of iddah, from the time of divorce, the wife should observe iddah, of course, and she should be informed. Inshallah, I will carry on my discussion regarding divorce, and there are, of course, important points, important discussions regarding divorce, and there are, of course, different kinds of divorce. We have to understand the various kinds of divorce so that we may be able to properly conduct and carry out the divorce if need be, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
اللهم بارك للحجاج والزوار في الزاد والنفقة واقض ما أوجبت عليهم من الحج والعمرة بفضلك ورحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.